Let me ask you something. Have you ever slammed your textbook shut after an epic study session, only to realize your brain just pulled a disappearing act? You were there, you were reading, you were highlighting like a mad scientist. So why does your mind feel like it just skimmed a story it couldn't care less about? You even mumbled explanations out loud. But the second you walk away, poof, it's gone. And SunDecode is here to tell you, it's not you, it's the method. The core problem and the lie. Here's the inconvenient truth no one dares to whisper in lecture halls. Most people don't forget because they're lazy. They forget because their brain didn't see a reason to keep it. It wasn't activated. It wasn't engaged. It wasn't tagged as must-have information. Because here's the bombshell your teachers, textbooks, and those painfully boring flashcards never taught you. Your brain doesn't store facts. It stores experiences. If your studying feels like watching paint dry, that's exactly how your memory will treat it. Passive, flat, forgettable. This is why you can remember that ridiculous meme from last week, but not the definition you just repeated 10 times. Your brain doesn't care how many times you look at something. It cares how deeply it connects to what you already feel, believe, or simulate. And unless you learn how to study in a way that activates that system, you will keep reading without remembering, working without learning, trying harder and still feeling like you're running in quicksand. But that stops now. Because I, SunDecode, am about to unleash the exact tricks that made me remember more in 2 days than I used to in 2 weeks. Not through focus hacks, but through a total mind shift. This isn't just for gifted students. It's for anyone tired of wasting hours just to blank on test day. Secret 1. The retrieval. Forget notes. Start with nothing. All right, buckle up. Here's a mind-bending truth no one told me when I was drowning in textbooks like a lost puppy in a library. Your brain doesn't store what it reads. It stores what it struggles to remember. Let that sink in. In school, they taught me to highlight until my pages looked like a neon crime scene, to rewrite sentences until my hand cramped, pretending that meant learning. Spoiler alert, I wasn't. I was performing the act of studying without actually remembering a damn thing. The SunDecode Method, Part 1. I was a master at recognizing information, but a total amateur at recalling it. And those two, my friend, are not the same skill. Recognition says, oh yeah, I've seen this before. Recall says, can I pull this out of the air? No help, no mercy? If you're not training recall, you're not studying. You're just rereading. So I flip the script. My new mantra, close everything, stare at a blank page, then ask, what do I actually remember right now? No videos, no notes, no cosmic intervention. Just me, my memory, and the awkward silence. Why it works and the hard truth. The first time I remembered maybe 5% of what I thought I knew. It sucked. It was humbling. It felt like my brain betrayed me. But it worked. Because that friction, that beautiful discomfort, that's what finally made my brain pay attention. Not because I reviewed more, but because I forced retrieval. And every time I failed, then corrected it, boom, it stuck. New rule, stop studying for comfort. Start studying for conflict. If you feel confident while reviewing, you're probably just babysitting the information. If you feel frustrated trying to recall, you're training your brain to save it next time. Mic drop. Secret 2. Character fusion. Don't study it, become it. Prepare for another truth bomb. You don't forget everything. You forget everything that feels disconnected from you. Think about it. You can recite entire side plots from your favorite show. Name 10 NBA players or K-drama characters, or the exact plot line of a 50-hour game. But can you explain the Krebs cycle, or the 4 stages of classical conditioning? Didn't think so. It's not because you're dumb. It's because your brain isn't a filing cabinet. It's a mirror. It keeps what feels like you and dumps what doesn't. The SunDecode Method, Part 2. So here's the fix from SunDecode's playbook. Stop trying to memorize the material, become the concept. Seriously. Don't say, in economics, supply and demand affect price elasticity. Say, If I was Nike and my new drop just went viral, I'd double the price because I know those fanatics will still pay. Boom! You just fused with the idea. This isn't a metaphor, this is neural anchoring. When you speak from the first person, when you role-play as the function or formula, you're not studying anymore, you're simulating. That simulation, it locks into your brain's identity center, the same part that remembers heartbreaks, lyrics, and dumb arguments from years ago. Your brain isn't passive, it's a stage, and when you act like the character, even for 10 seconds, you leave a trace. Your move. Every 5 minutes, stop and ask, if I was this process, what would I want? What would I avoid? Don't just summarize. Narrate it out loud like a voiceover from a blockbuster movie. The more personal, dramatic, even stupid, the better. Make it yours, because memorizing facts is work. But remembering something you became for 10 seconds, that's automatic. Secret 3. The chunk collapse method. Compress or forget. All right, third secret weapon. Here's something no one in school admits. Your brain was never designed to hold entire chapters. It was built to hold patterns, not pages. That's why rereading feels productive, but fails spectacularly under pressure. And here's the kicker. The more info you cram, the less you retain. Why? Because if your brain doesn't know where to start, it starts nowhere. It's like trying to find a single sock in a tornado of laundry. So Sunday stopped trying to memorize content and started collapsing it into something usable. Here's how it works. Let's say the textbook drones on about the prefrontal cortex governing executive function, planning, impulse control, blah, blah, blah. Instead, I'd write, prefrontal cortex equals SEO, makes plans, fires dumb ideas, keeps the team in check. Boom! It sticks, because now it's not a concept, it's a character, with a job, with friction, and that's what your brain saves, friction plus compression. Your mission? Chunk each topic into one-sentence summaries. If you can't explain it in one line, you don't get it yet, my friend. Then, collapse those summaries into 2 to 5 word tags. The weirder or funnier, the better. Supply and demand equals sneaker drop logic. Krebs cycle equals biological hamster wheel. Working memory equals your brain's Google Chrome tabs. These aren't jokes, they're handles. Because when you're under pressure, test day, real-world convo, anxiety in your throat, you won't recall paragraphs, you'll recall handles. And from that handle, the door opens. Don't study for recall, study for access. It's like creating a mental shortcut, except this shortcut actually works.
Secret 4. Sensory reset triggering. Your brain isn't tired, it's just disconnected. Ever had that moment? You're sitting at your desk, books open, notes everywhere, eyes scanning words like a robot, but nothing is landing. You're reading, but not absorbing. You're holding the pen, but your brain feels like it packed its bags and left the room. And the first thought is always the same. What's wrong with me? You get frustrated, double down, try to force it. But here's the truth Sunday discovered. You don't need more discipline. You need reconnection. The brain's overload and the override. Your brain didn't shut down from laziness. It shut down from overload. That fog, that drift, that mental flatline, that's your nervous system hitting energy conservation mode. You're not tired. You're disconnected from your body's focus triggers. And here's where it gets real. No amount of try harder will bring you back, but sensation will. Cold, movement, pressure, smell. These aren't hacks. They're biological override switches that snap your brain back into the present. The Sunday method, part 4. So, Sunday developed the sensory reset trigger. Cold water splash to the face, instant jolt. Ice cube on the back of your neck sharpens your awareness. Lay on the floor, legs up, arms stretched, grounding reset. Walk barefoot for 2 minutes, full sensory grounding. Hang upside down. Yes, trust me, it sounds weird. It works better than any timer or triple shot espresso. When your body wakes up, your brain follows. And once your system's back online, you don't study harder, you study clearer. It's like hitting the reset button on your brain's Wi-Fi. Secret 5. Audio loop recall. Your voice is the ultimate memory anchor. Even when your brain is awake, most people go back to stuffing it with words. Passive, flat, dry. That's not memory, that's just noise. So now we feed your brain what it actually loves: sound, rhythm, familiarity. And we use something most people never think to try: your own voice. I need you to remember something crucial. Your brain listens to your voice. Not because you're narcissistic, but because your brain evolved to trust its own signals first. The A Sunday method, part 5. Which means if you want to study smarter, you stop reading and start recording. Back in college, my friend Leo failed the same test twice, tried everything. Third time, I convinced him to record himself explaining it like he was teaching a 5-year-old. He played it while walking, doing dishes, zoning out, didn't even try to memorize. And on test day, the answers flowed like he rehearsed it 100 times, but he hadn't. He just tricked his brain into believing this info was already his. Why it works and the brain's echo. Here's the magic. When you hear your own voice, your brain flags it as familiar and trusted. When that voice is paired with music or rhythm, your brain attaches memory to pattern. When you're not actively studying, your subconscious does the work in the background. This is called multisensory encoding, and ADHD brains thrive on it. So do overloaded neurotypical ones. Your mission: open your voice recorder. Speak your notes out loud casually, like you're explaining it to someone dumb but curious. Add background music, lo-fi, ambient, nature sounds. Play it daily while walking, brushing teeth, or chilling. No pressure. Don't study it, just loop it. The material flows not because you studied harder, but because you created an echo your brain couldn't ignore. Look, you don't forget things because your brain is broken. You forget because no one taught you how memory actually works. You weren't trained to study. You were trained to consume, cram, and repeat. But your mind, it remembers what feels playable, what feels alive, what feels like it matters. And once you learn to study in a way that hooks your brain instead of fighting it, that's when studying stops feeling like punishment and starts feeling like progress. If these secrets felt like unlocking a cheat code for your brain, then you haven't seen anything yet. I'm just getting started. If you want to learn how to make studying not just effective, but addictive, like something your brain craves the way it craves a scroll, a notification, or a game, then you absolutely must watch my next video: How to Make Studying Addictive Like a Video Game. Don't just subscribe, prepare to be shocked. You won't want to miss it.